Well, I do have that excerpt to read that I found on the ICF, the International Coaching Federation's LinkedIn page, written by one of their members. That's so inspiring. But one way that I kind of distinguish the the two in my mind, or even from mentorship and consulting, is that um, between coaching and therapy, coach therapy is oftentimes, looking at the present and looking to the past for answers and for insights and how to move forward. And I honor Nicole in being a therapist who is so skillful and such a joy to work with, in that your focus is about taking the past and moving forward. I've done a lot of therapy in my life, and I find a lot of therapists are so focused on the past that you kind of stay rooted there for a bit. But I love that distinction. And coaching really is about taking the present and moving into the future. I believe that both are vital and they work beautifully together. And I see this come up with so many clients. It's amazing to me and refreshing and inspiring that so many clients want to go there and talk about their experience in therapy or their personal journeys and the things that they are identifying as patterns from their families or themselves, and how to embrace that, heal, learn, and move forward. So for coaching, I think that we really do honor the past, we acknowledge it, we don't dive in the way that a skilled therapist would do so. And I think this discussion is so vital because we do need to know as coaches how to offer resources or help clients distinguish when they do need therapy and when they do need coaching, and how the two fit together. One is not a substitute for the other. So I'll read this lovely excerpt. Is that okay, Lynn, if I go ahead and
Oh,
read
I can't wait to hear it again.
it? So this is a distinction between a good versus a great coach. A good coach can change a game. A great coach can change a life. Read that again. A good coach can change a game. A great coach can change a life. A lot of us look to leaders for inspiring change in us. It is great to draw inspiration from others. However, here's the secret. For lasting change, inspiration has to come from within. You need to be able to empower yourself. For that, you really need a coach. The reason: coaching and leadership are not the same. Good coaches often have the natural born instincts of leadership. However, the reverse is not true. Coaches play a different role compared to leaders. They don't provide you the answers. They often unearth the answers found within yourself. Here are a few things to keep in mind. Coaches don't do the work for you. They facilitate and support you. Coaches don't get results. They encourage you to get the results you want. More importantly, the key to everlasting behavioral change lies in focusing on the head and the heart. That reveals the how and why behind achieving winning results. A good coach can help you in just working with your head. A great coach will help you focus on the head and the heart. That's the reason a great coach can change a life.
And we will put that with a recording as we send this out, so you can have a copy. And Shannon, I'm going to invite you if you want to put it in chat right now so people can snag that if they want it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so let's go to our audience quickly. What notes did you take? What distinctions? What did you notice that maybe you haven't noticed before, or something that just got reaffirmed about coaching because of this? Anything you want to say? Go ahead, Asia.
I really like the reaffirmation that coaches help others find their own solutions, and really are there as witnesses of the self-empowerment process that ends up happening naturally through that as the person that's trying to do that, you're kind of blind to. So it's really nice to have somebody point things out and say, look, here's this and here's this, and look what this process that you have chosen into, or the solutions that you're experimenting with are showing up in this way or that way, right? So I just really liked that a great coach can help unearth the answers, but the person is there you're just there to encourage them to get their results. And that was really kind of cool for me, because that's something that I feel is kind of, it comes from me anyway. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I like to look at it. I like to see people experiment and find new or, effective ways to do things. So I really liked that in that quote.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I could see why that appeals to you, Asia, in particular. Yes. Yeah. Anyone else want to share something?
I just one thought, if I may. she was talking about sort of changing a game versus changing a life, head and heart. The thought to me is like a great coach is really helping you to win the inner game. And that is dealing with all of those things that are in the heart from which everything else springs, right? And so I just love that. And it's a lot of what I work with my clients on is really how you win from within. That's truly winning.
That really is. And I saw you light up when she read that part. So
Yeah.
and now I get to know why. That's really cool. Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Okay. So as a coach, kind of keep that in mind, jot a few notes down, because you're going to have a chance to role play a little bit, listening to somebody and allowing yourself to respond to them in a way where you are hoping they feel seen and heard as you play a coaching role. So keep that kind of in mind as we go forward, that Shannon's given us a backdrop from which you are more than welcome to formulate how you will use that information moving forward. Let's go to you, Nicole, and talk to us about the area that you've studied so well and that you're so adept at. And if anyone missed it, and I know some of you did, I just came off a discovery call with a client that I had sent to Nicole, who is struggling with winning that inner game and needed to work on the inner game. And it was something from the past and something that kept tripping him up over and over. Nicole's worked intensely with him, and he was shiny and bright today and praising her for changing his life so he could get back to business. And so, Nicole, give us the slant from the therapy world. What is
Sure.
it? Yeah.
Sure. In reflecting on what I wanted to share with you all today, I think the thing that struck me the most is how our worlds so much are overlapping. And a lot of what we're doing are very, very similar and the same. And I think the biggest difference that I see is that as a licensed clinical social worker, as a mental health provider, my work is rooted in the medical model. When somebody comes into therapy, what I am trained to do through my education and through my license is diagnose somebody with their diagnose a mental illness and provide treatment based on that diagnosis. And that is not something, obviously, that we would do in coaching. However, the treatments are very similar in that a lot of the treatments that I would provide are going to be rooted in like cognitive behavioral therapy, which is let's look at some of the behaviors that would help change how your mental health diagnosis is and to help create wellness in your life. And I also think that with therapy, a lot of times I'm dealing with somebody who is more acute in their mental illness, where their depression, their anxiety, their trauma is so acute that that's the lens that they see through. Where, when we are in a better state of health and wellness, our lens, our worldview is broader, and we can see past the illness, past the diagnoses. And when somebody is in acute struggling with mental illness or mental disorders, their lens narrows, and it's almost like they can't see past their diagnoses until they get the right support and the right medication, the right treatments on board, to where then they have access to the rest of them. So I would say those are the biggest differences that I see.
Yeah, I think you've hit the big ones. Yes. And one of the things that we study in the social coach certification is the distinction between all of these modalities and when to specifically, and you alluded to it, Shannon Judge, when do we specifically refer to therapy? And I think you've hit on a lot of beautiful things, Nicole. Let's find out, what is the audience here we're all listening to her? What are you picking up on that's a distinction that maybe you didn't know, or what are you appreciating about what you're hearing from Nicole's vantage point?
Definitely,
Sharni,
I can
Sharni, then Jennifer.
just appreciate hearing the different lens and how they very much work to complement one another,
Mhm.
but have different skills, different education behind them, and there's a purpose and a need for both. I definitely find both in Shannon's explanation as well as Nicole's some comfort with just exploring the idea of coaching and making sure I find some comfort in knowing that there's room and space for both to help people along their path and being of service and helping people move forward wherever it is they're on their journey. But knowing that, you don't have to, the diagnoses from the therapist side, the medical world, we can definitely leave and direct that person that might need that type of healing work to a great therapist. And that from a coach's perspective, it's more about facilitation versus having to have those ants, having that skill or the knowledge, but just being able to help guide feels really good.
So Sharni, you used a word more than once, and I'm curious if you could expand on it just a moment. You used the word comfort. How does that bring you comfort exactly?
I think it removes removes some level of fear that I would have coming in and saying, am I qualified to be sitting at the table to explore coaching? Because I know that I'm still doing the work both the coaching, I'm being coached and I'm seeking therapy. And so I think sometimes I am still recovering from that perfectionism of thinking that I need to be there before I would have something to offer other people.
Yeah.
So I think that gives me some comfort and reminder that we can all still be healing and also help to use our story or our journey to help someone else.
Boy, I'm so glad you went there. I didn't know that that's where you would go, but that is the essence of why I mentioned earlier in our introduction that we want to show up here for one another, because we all are on a journey. And some of us find times when we need therapy more than others. And some of us may find that that's a constant part of our toolkit. I always have a PT and an acupuncturist on my schedule just to keep my body going. And
Yeah.
and so I feel like as generative human beings, why would we not go to therapy when we need it? Why would we not go to a coach? Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. I knew there was something deeper underneath those words. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Jennifer, what do you want to share?
I loved hearing Nicole speak about therapy, and it broadened my perspective, and that I see. So give you a little information ahead of time. Also, I'm a mind body yoga therapist. I through Phoenix Rising, and so I see it from the mind body aspect, not the diagnoses aspect. And then I've also taken a program with the Embody Lab, which helped me kind of bring more, we'll say juiciness, but like it's hard to even explain it because there was some therapy elements in it, and there's mind body elements and some cultural information, a whole bunch of really juicy stuff. But anyways, I loved seeing the similarities between the two, from what I do and coaching and therapy, and just how they can all be useful in different ways, and how we can help each other as coaches and therapists, etc. And similar to what is it Sharni? I want to say your name right. Okay, how you were saying it, in something similar to, not feeling like I might not have the right words here. May not come to me. So give you a little information. I have a TBI, and sometimes the words just don't come until like hours later. So it's like, okay, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I'm learning how more to adapt with it, and now I don't do the same things I did at the beginning of the journey on that. But yeah, I think the idea that we can help each other, like we can bring each other referrals, or, we can help each other understand where our role is and where somebody else's role is, and just how we all fit in different ways, and being more expansive about things rather than living in the world of scarcity, which is where I'm coming away from. And anyways, so
Yeah. Great insights. And it sounds like you're very involved in the somatic level of change
yes.
and moving forward. Yeah. There are some people that will not make the shift until they feel it in their bodies. So thank you. Anyone else before we go to Lisa? Okay, Lisa, you may want to do two. We didn't double check on this, but you may want to just do one. What are you prone to say
No,
today?
I am happy to do both. I was asked to for sure talk about consulting versus coaching, so I'll start with that. The way I view a consultant is a specialist. Like they take on a specific project or task, acting in the role as a specialist to provide very specific deliverables and to share their knowledge. Um, as a coach, we are not consulting on our client isn't a project that we're consulting on. It's not our job to, do the work for them. And that's another like big distinction. The consultant is actually paid to do the work for their client. So for example, I had an organization to hire me to work with a client of theirs on reimagining their business. How could they restructure the organization so that they can scale better? And so in that capacity, I'm wearing my hat as consultant. So I'm going in and asking questions, trying to learn their business, et cetera. But my deliverable is to go away, do the work, come back with a presentation with recommendations for how they can achieve the objective that they hired me to consult on. Now, a consultant then may go further. So after I've done that deliverable, they may want me to do some of the work to actually make happen what I've recommended to them. That's very different than coaching, because as a coach, we're there to come alongside our client, to be a guide, to ask those powerful questions so that they uncover for themselves the answers they need. They're deciding what the path looks like forward. We're not doing that on their behalf. So big distinction there. And leadership also different than coaching, right? I am a leader. I also happen to be a coach, but I'm not acting in my leadership capacity when I am coaching. A leader's role is to, I would say, to see, number one. So they have to have a vision for where we are now and a vision for what's possible. Then they have to be able to communicate that vision, to say what they see and to inspire and get their teams and others around them to buy into the vision as they see it. And then they're also often, right? Then they have to do or ensure that things get done. So they're delegating, assigning tasks to achieve the vision and the objectives that they have set, right? As a coach, I may have a vision, some ideas or thoughts, but it's really the client's their own vision of what's possible. It's their goals that matter. I'm not setting the goals or the standards for them. That is theirs to do. Mine's is, again, to ask those questions that unearth the answers that are already within them. So I have clients who come to me because of my leadership experience in corporate America, because they want to be better leaders. So an example is I'm working with a client right now who is an executive in a nonprofit in the IT space, and he has a big team that he's leading, but he's not necessarily as effective as a leader as he could be because of emotional intelligence and his ability to communicate effectively with his team. So he wants to be better in those areas so that he can expand his leadership capacity and do a better job of leading. So I'm his coach. I'm not telling him how to do it, what to do. I'm not doing the work for him. And those are the distinctions for me.
Well said. Beautiful. And I love how you led with a specialist part of the consultant.
Yeah.
and then to set that aside from the leadership. And so what are you guys picking up on from what Lisa said that kind of lands for you? And Mickey, this might even land more than some of the other things that were said with your leadership role. So who'd come on and tell us what's occurring to you? Yes, Mickey.
Sorry I haven't spoken earlier as well. They've been leaf blowing right outside my windows. Very loud around here. I really loved what everyone has said, but Lisa, I feel like I really connected to a lot of what you were talking about. I'm a director of a salon that has 27 employees. I'm also a leader by nature, and I like to inspire people, but then I also do coaching twice a month with every person on my team. So I'm a hairstylist behind the chair too. So I have multiple roles I'm constantly working under at any given point in time, and having to switch from one to the other could be very challenging, which is really where I met Lynn, is because I was finding it to be extremely hard to make it kind of a thing I can go between and understand the roles inside of. And so I love what you had to say about leadership, Lisa. I thought that was really strong and it really resonated with me.
So, Mickey, and there's one other thing that you missed. Mickey is also a crazy creative, and you have an outside gig outside the salon where you travel all over and train people. So share just a little bit of that, because that shows the artistry that is in you too.
Yes, so I've been doing hair for 16 years, and I also work for a company where they hire me to go train around. I'm a national educator for them. And so I get to educate them. It could be anywhere from business related to hair, like updos, cutting skills. It can really vary as far as what people would like me to educate on. And I work for 2 companies now educating.
Yeah,
So-
not just one. Sharni you were working with Aveda, is that right, Sharni? Yes. So
Yeah.
she's your sister in crime in the salon scene.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Thank you. Anybody else want to comment on where Lisa took us?
I would.
Yeah, Asia.
I really had never had such a clear definition of the differences here, because I find that when I'm working with people, I show up. I know I can show up very easily as a coach, wanting to, again, encourage them to find their own solutions. But they do sometimes come to me as a specialist, because I do have a very specialized vision of certain things, but I've never had the distinction, I guess, and I've not had it to where I just feel like now I could actually, in my mind, go, oh, this would be a consulting kind of role, and this would be a coaching kind of role. And here's how I can lead and, like maybe help myself or help the client decide what they want, kind of help unweave it or, piece it apart. So I'm really excited about that. That was very inspiring for me. So thank you.
Yeah. And Asia, I imagine too, when you're doing your silversmith work with people who come to you specifically to want to learn that you can use both the consulting and the specialist, because you know the medium, and you can also use the coaching and consulting side to draw them out and to give them guidance toward their own solutions, right?
I can, yeah. That side of it is very much on the educational, and people are coming for a very specific thing. What I'm referencing is more on the other side. Am I transitioning into, okay, I really know that I'm excited about, and getting more and more solid just from this meeting about, I am excited about coaching, and I like the word coaching, but just really being a mentor for people that are coming from a really traumatic background like I did, that are actually looking into moving forward in their lives. And so, like high demand religion and a lot of other deep traumatic emotional things, that this is where the therapy kind of rolls over, and this is really, really powerful. I love all of this. So thanks.
I'm glad. And the reason I pointed out the silversmith stuff is I wanted you to see that you can transmediate all you've used in the past to this new beautiful thing you're stepping into bringing your past forward so you can stand in the presence of people who are trying to put their past behind them.
Yeah, I see that. Thank you for that. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah.
I see that.
So, yeah, so we're all edified today by the words that have been spoken. So now we all get to play in the stuff that we've created. So what I'm going to invite you each to do, and you can volunteer to do this or not. We're going to use the remainder of our hour with you having a chance. If there's something that's alive in you today, something that you could give us in a short 3 to 5 sentence description. And then what we will do is we will play with, how would a coach allow that person to be seen and heard? How would a therapist allow that person to be seen and heard? How would a consultant, a leader, allow that person to be seen and heard? And so if there's something alive in you, or today you just need, sometimes we just need something. Yesterday I was in a mastermind, and I'm looking over here and I have 5 medals that I've won in fencing this year, which I'm just blown away that I did, because that wasn't the purpose. And they're mocking me because in 2 weeks I'm going to a national event and I'm not supposed to be focused on medals. I'm supposed to be focused on a mindset of learning my strengths and how to read my opponents. And so I was in a mastermind yesterday going, help me. I see these, they're great accolades, but they were not my objective. And they're screaming at me to put them as my objective, and I'll lose what I've been trying to learn. And so that was what was alive in me yesterday, and the mastermind just heard me, and that calmed down. They gave me perspective. And that's what we're looking for you. There's something that's alive in you today, something you need today. We have a forum where we can all practice. So who has something? And I know, Shannon, you came with one that maybe we talked about yesterday, if you want to start, and then we'll have somebody else come on. So what do you have, Shannon?
Sure. I met with Lynn yesterday for some coaching, and one thing that's come up for me in my coaching practice, I've done a lot of one-to-one, I've done all one-to-one work, which I absolutely love. And I'd like to branch out into coaching for teams in business. I've got a hospitality background, so that seems like an easy fit. Could branch into consulting, but I'd love to offer hospitality coaching and just learning how to go about that.
Okay, so that's what she just said. So based on everything we talked about, we're not trying to solve her problem. We're not trying to necessarily coach her in a series of questions. We are trying on our ability to hear her and let her be seen and heard in this desire that she has. So is there anybody that's brave enough to come out and say, okay, I'm going to try this from a leadership perspective, or a therapy perspective, or a coaching perspective, or I just want to try it on and see if I can see and hear her from my perspective today? So who would like to practice that? And we can have more than one person do it. So who wants to try it on? And Shannon, take notes, see how it feels with each one that approached you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this is where you get brave and jump in and rumble with us. Anybody want to go first?
I'm happy to jump in and start.
Go, Nicole.
So, Shannon, I think it's so exciting what you are stepping into. And I think that you'll be, knowing you, I think you're going to be great at that. And it's like you're bringing these two worlds together. And so as a therapist, what I would be curious about is, how are you feeling about that? What are your fears around that? And what are some of the roadblocks from your past that you think would get in the way of you really stepping into that in a successful way?
Okay.
Okay, so we're
going
going
to
to
answer. Oh,
no, we're
okay.
going to pause right there.
Gotcha.
So, wow, Nicole. So take a few notes on how that landed with you, and what benefit you gained from Nicole stepping in and seeing you and hearing you from her therapy perspective.
Okay.
Yep. And then anybody else who wants to play, you can take on the therapy role, the coaching. Asia, go ahead.
All right. Shannon, this sounds like a really exciting thing that has come around for you. I don't know how long you've been thinking about doing this, but based on the fact that you have this really great background in hospitality, clearly it's something that you feel is a strength for you, and that you know some ins and outs for, that you would want to be able to step into a greater role, being able to see how you could benefit others. Have you got a framework on maybe how you would like piece that out? And would you be working with teams that would be specific to a particular niche, or would you want to do something that was generalized? Because then you could actually cover a number of different things. Like, where does your heart really call to you to begin? And maybe what'll end up happening is you'll have a lot of people that'll say, hey, I'm going to give you a little more information of what I'm looking for, which could be kind of fun. But I really am excited for you on
Thank you.
on what this new idea is, and really stepping forward with it. And I think that there are some real benefits here that I would love to see you explore.
Thank you, Asia.
Thank you, Asia, for playing along. So Shannon Judge, take a note about how that landed with you. Yeah. Lisa, I'm wondering if you want to lead the way with one of yours. Would you like to play in this one?
Sure, can try to put my coach hat on.
Do it.
Shannon, thank you for sharing that you have a great practice one-on-one. Now you're thinking about how you can branch into doing some work around groups, using your background in hospitality. So I'm just curious, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it for you to move into this group coaching and around hospitality now?
Okay.
Great question.
Yeah, so jot down some notes of what that was like.
Thank you, Lisa.
Jennifer, are you
You're
jumping in, Jennifer?
I'd like to, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for being so open, Shannon. I know that takes a lot of courage. What I was going to step into was, where do you notice things in your body? If there's like fear or excitement or something else, where does that show up for you? And are you able to breathe into it? What does it look like if you close your eyes and just let it be there for a moment, and just let it roll through your body, and just visualize yourself in that place, teaching that class or coaching, or the group coaching that you're talking about. And just pause with that for a moment and see where that lands.
I
Excellent.
love that. Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah. So write down the value from that. Anybody else before we, yeah, Mickey, take a shot.
Yeah, really, Shannon, when you were speaking, it made me excited for you. Like, I felt your energy, I felt your excitement, and it just made me smile to know that you really have like a path for your life, and you really want to discover something new, but really bring your past into it in hospitality and really branch out. And I know that that could be a little scary at times, but I feel like the excitement's there and the passion's there for you, where I know that you're going to do really well.
Thank you.
Nice. Write down what landed with you with what Mickey said. Sharni, do you want to play on this one? And you don't have to. Okay, I didn't want to skip over you. So I'm gonna jump in and play with this one. Shannon, what I heard was a stretching and expansion of what you want for yourself and what you think is possible. And what I saw was your eyes light up. And then also I could see, can I do this like we all do? And I just saw that you were standing with your toes dangling over, and this is maybe a next thing. I don't know how close I am, but that's what I'm sensing.
I think very perceptive. Thank you, Lynn.
Okay, so write this down and then go around the room and share with us the value you got from each of the comments, what landed from each of these.
Sure. It's got me thinking, and I've got good notes to reflect on. I feel like hard skills came in, and the questions from Nicole about what is it from your past that's showing up? Are there fears? Is there anything holding you back? From Lisa, I love that you jumped in, I feel, with a very strong knowledge of consulting, and it helped me kind of visualize like, oh, could this lead to some consulting? And it helped me realize how important is this really to me with your scale. I thought that was fabulous, and I really haven't considered that, to be honest. And I have felt getting into the body, Jennifer, I think that is such a tremendous resource that I don't always go to first. So I so appreciate, I'm going to do that exercise when we get off the call. That's very valuable. Asia and Mickey, I feel so seen and heard and inspired and understood by you. I appreciate you showing up, and I feel like everyone who spoke and on this call, like, and even if you didn't speak, I feel it, your support and your love. And Lynn, you always, even before we knew each other, I just looked, it's our 8-year anniversary this year, in June. But seeing that in me, and I feel like a lot of times with you, you are such a perceptive, intuitive coach that I don't need to speak everything that you see and hear and know. And I so value that in you. Thank you for your generous comments, everybody.
So what is possible for you now? Just because the presence of these people standing here, sitting here with you, what's possible now that maybe wasn't before you shared what you shared?
I think that imposter syndrome and this, I had said to you something that's coming up for me in life is learning the ways that I hold myself back, because I'm the only person holding me back, right? And I feel like a lot of us feel this way. So hearing what all of you said, and that people that I don't know well or are meeting for the first time can see this in me, can see excitement, can see my eyes light up, can see that I have this possibility and potential, helps me believe in myself some more, and helps me realize maybe it's not crazy to go after that, even though I've never done it before. And I'm not sure where to begin. So thank you. Yeah, it broadens my scope of possibilities and even my belief in myself. So thank
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Way to play. So I'm looking at the time and trying to make a decision if we do one more role play or if we take a minute and let each person share how we can stay connected. And so does anybody have a vote of what would be better for you today? I feel like we've shared a lot. What would be most useful? Just come off mute and tell me.
Can
would
you clarify what you mean by how we're going to stay connected?
Yes. So for instance, I would hope that all of you would go out if you're on Instagram and follow Ascentium, which is Lisa Baker's company. I often repost some of her quotes on the Soul Salt Instagram, so you've probably seen her before. So it could be, this is our first gathering. It could be that we just share with each other how to stay connected. And that might be a great way to spend our last 9 minutes together rather than another role play. How do you guys feel about that?
I like that.
Okay. So you can go to chat and put it in there if you would like, and then we can make sure that Shannon does that. But if there's one way better than others, for me, I am getting nudged by my social media people to start posting more on LinkedIn. So in the future, you will find me on Instagram at Soul Salt or Lynn Christian, and you will also start finding me on Soul Salt LinkedIn. Yeah, there's Nicole right there. So Nicole, you're giving us your website. Yes. And you're also on Psychology Today's website too, right? Yeah. And Mickey, it's really fun to follow you and all of your travels on Instagram, Mickey and more. I always love to see where you are and and your pictures are so beautiful. And there we go. So this is Shannon. You can see her website and where she's on the Instagrams. Asia, yeah, beautiful pictures and things going on. And then Ascentium, right? Yeah. Good. So as we start to wind down, I would love to know, there we go, Grounding Yoga Therapy on Instagram. Thank you. And Sharni, there you are. Sharni Beauty Biz. And there you go, Lisa. You're also on LinkedIn. Thank you. So I would love for us to go around and just each person very quickly share one thing you're leaving with that's valuable, that you're going to be able to apply and use this week or next week or forever.
I'm just really grateful to be here amongst greats, people that are valuing self-development and bringing that to others in the world. I really feel honored to be a part of this, and I'm grateful for the work that you initiate, Lynn. And also, I really just liked the exercise of going back through and defining the different hats, if you will. I can see a purpose and a reason for many different ones, and how possibly as I continue to try to expand my thinking, can maybe dream a little bit more on how each of those definitions that were provided by all the different speakers can help me think through some journaling and some doodling. That will help.
Yeah, I'd love to
So
see those.
thank
I'd love to see the doodle, Sharni. I
Yes.
would.
Yes.
Thank you. Who's next?
I'll jump in real quick. I found value out of listening to each person's perspective, and what we did with Shannon, that was really, really great. And then I really enjoyed being able to hear the differences between coaching and consulting and therapy and then my own therapy and all the different types of things going on here. It will help me moving forward, knowing how to be able to give somebody else, stay within my window and help somebody find somebody that fits them better if they need it. So yeah, it's good.
Thank you.
Lynn, what strikes me is how we all just bring this unique gift and that we all have something different to share and to inspire the world with, and how important it is to have a team of people, right? That we all offer something different, and it kind of creates this well-rounded experience and healing for a person. It's been really fun to get to know you all, and I'm looking forward to staying connected and getting to know you more.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and Nicole, that ties to what I was thinking. Just being here is that I'm passionate about women in general. Like I have clients that are diverse for sure, but my heart has always been for women. And so the beauty for me is to be here today in the presence of a group of amazing women who are all beautiful souls, like beautiful humans with distinct gifts that we're bringing to the table and freely sharing them with each other. And so that for me is it feels like such a blessing. And I look forward to learning from and expanding what's possible for me just by being at this table.
Thank you.
And
Yes, Mickey.
yeah, I think the exercise we did was really cool, and knowing and hearing the descriptions from everybody and being able to really take it on this week, because I work with a lot of people every day. And so to use and realize in myself and analyze myself, like, was I coaching in that moment when I should have been directing? Was I being a leader or when I should have been a director? And really understanding what I'm doing a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll ditto that one. Yeah, needed those upgrades to my knowledge bank and my frontal lobe this week. So thank you for saying that. Anyone else?
The community connection thing is so huge, I think, as well. And that's really, thank you for all your feedback and your insights. But the community and the connecting is so huge. And I really value that. And I'm so happy to connect with everyone I know and that I don't know. So thank you. It's beautiful.
I'm going to echo that. I think this is a surprise for me. Like, stepping in knowing I'm going to be with a group is always like, I'm always happy about that and interested in that. But this is actually, the surprise for me is that I feel so ignited, I think that's probably the best word for me, where I've been asking myself the question, why have I not done? And I've got a list of things that would actually help me move myself forward. And this kind of ignited that kind of helped right there. Like, it really boosted oh, I know what my why is, but this is really giving me like the excitement, the enthusiasm to put action behind it. Really, like, it feels more solid than just me trying to generate it myself. You know what I mean? So this is really cool. And I just want to thank everybody for, just even your presence and how that's even contributed to that to me. That's just so cool. So yeah, big takeaway.
Nice. I'm so excited. Well, let me give you a preview of where we're headed next month. We'll be doing this almost every month. We may take some time off. July is usually a busy month for a lot of people traveling, and so is December. So we're thinking about having those be months off where we have a sabbatical. But next month, we're going to be talking about challenging, how we challenge when we're challenging like a coach, which is different than how other people might challenge. And why would you even want to challenge someone? And so if there's anybody on the call, I'll make an invitation. You can reach out to me if you have a specialty in this or you have special knowledge you would like to share. Please do. This is something that I've built, and I've built 3 coach training schools, one for Franklin Covey, one that is, I think, still going, which is Ultimate Coach University. And then I did have a Soul Solid Academy at one point. So while this is not part necessarily of a school, but of a certification track for Soul Salt, I want you to know that challenging is a strong aspect. And if you go through the ICF core competencies, it is part of that. And so we're going to be diving into that. And so there is an invitation if you have a specialty in that, or you have something where you'd like to contribute as one of the presenters next time, let me know. I would also invite you to invite people. You have other people that you know who are either therapists or coaches or leaders or consultants. This is open to everyone. And so they're welcome to come. And if you feel like they would be an attribute to us and likewise, please let them know about us, and we would welcome them warmly if they came from your guidance and your recommendation. So thank you for being here. Special thanks to Shannon and Lisa and Nicole and to all of you, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.